Hi, my name is Jesse Holguin, and I'm telling you about my testimony as an ex-gang member, ex-gang leader. I grew up my whole life. I always wanted to be a gang member. My whole family was gang members. Every single male in my family was a gang member. My dad, my uncles, my brothers, my cousins. Like I said, every single male in my family was a gang member. So I always grew up looking up to gangs, and that was my goal. Remember, like other kids maybe would have wanted to be a movie star or athlete or something like that. My goal was always to be a gang member. So I ended up getting into a gang very young, and since my family had a good reputation around my neighborhood where I was from, that I started trying to earn my own name, my own respect. So I started doing a lot of things to get my own reputation. But my story was, and my thing with me was, I loved guns and I loved to do shootings. So I got 16, I got arrested for a shooting, and I went for a lot of years. And but I had ended up achieving that the greatest you could hope for in that lifestyle. I ended up, like I said, I was running my neighborhood. I had the power. I could say, you go do this shootings or whatever. So my story starts where I was gonna do a shooting, another shooting, but me and my friends, we already had the stolen car, we already had the guns. They were just waiting for me to get off work. And my older boss was an older Christian man, and he started sharing the gospel with me. And I never heard it the way he was telling me. Like, I was raised Catholic my whole life, and I just never heard the way he was saying it. So he was telling me about Jesus and all things like that. And I told him, you know what, that sounds pretty good or whatever. Maybe one day if I ever get married and stuff like that, maybe I'll go to church. But I told him, I'm not ready. I don't want to be a hypocrite, a half-stepper. I'm not ready. I didn't tell him, as soon as I get off work, I'm going to go do a shooting because it was my foreman. But I just said, nah, I ain't ready. Maybe one day. But I told him, you know what? I don't even think I could be forgiven. I did too many things. And he told me, nah, you can't be forgiven. You never heard the story about like King David. So I'm listening. And then I was like, all right, whatever. He probably thought I wasn't listening, but I was listening. So I was a painter at the time. So I went in a room, and I didn't know how to pray or nothing like that. But I was on my knees and I was painting because I was a painter. And I just asked God, help me to change. And that night, sure enough, I went, me and my friends, we did the shooting. We got a high-speed chase, and I got crashed, and I was in the county jail. And I had 7 felonies. I already did years in the youth authority and in jail for shooting. So now it caught me in the act, everything, high-speed chase. I got 7 felonies in the county. So I was supposed to be it. I was supposed to be looking at life. So I just was praying in the county, and I don't remember the words I prayed, but it's true that God knows the heart, and He knew my heart. And I was just praying, and I got saved that day, but I didn't really know what that meant or what. But I got saved because the Lord changed me. And like before, I used to have weird thoughts. Like, all I used to think about in my mind, like during the regular daytime and stuff like that, I would think about, I could catch my enemies like this, I could run up on them and shoot them like this, and things like that. And it used to worry me, like, what's wrong with me? How come all I ever think about is how to do bad and hurt people? But it like changed, and it was a trip because that night when I prayed, I asked God, if you let me get out one more time, I promise I'll never touch a gun again. So that night I had a dream in the county, and like something came in my dream, and I couldn't see the face or nothing, but you could just feel the evil, and it was like on me, like all mad. In my dream, I was scared, but then I just started saying, you know what, Jesus forgave me, and I started saying Jesus, and it left. And when I woke up, I was changed. Like, nobody couldn't say God wasn't real or nothing like that, or nothing to me, because I was totally changed. The old thoughts and just everything about me was totally changed. And I remember when I was in juvenile hall and youth authority and stuff like that, I used to try to read my Bible, and it was boring to me. I didn't understand it. It was like nothing. But now, after when I prayed and asked for forgiveness and all of that, I started reading the Bible, and it came alive to me. And not only did it come alive to me, I was hungry for it. And I started going to Bible studies in there in jail. Like, I was a Catholic and all of that, but I started going to with the other Christian brothers in there, going to Bible studies in there. So I was growing, and I was learning a lot about God. But the mistake that I made was I tried to walk on both sides of the fence. I tried to kick it with the fellas and all of that in there, but then read my Bible and go to church on the side. So that didn't last very long, because as soon as I went up to state, I went to a level 3 yard, and as soon as my first day on the yard, they were telling me I had to do things, this and that. So I started getting in fights, going into the hole, just getting into trouble. That's how how the enemy does it. And I ended up kind of like falling away. And then the guys used to trip out on me right there on the yard I was at, because they would see me and I'll be beating somebody up on the yard or something like that. And then they would see me and I'll be at Bible study. They'll be like, so what's up with you, eh? You're over there beating up people, doing all this on the yard, but then you're at Bible study. And I just told them, you know what? I choose to go to church. You guys know what's up with me and all that, but I just choose to go to church. And they never told me nothing, because I didn't want people to think that I picked up the Bible in jail. So then when I got out, the day I got out, all my family was at my house. They had me a party, all my family and all my old homeboys. So I'm right there at the party, and then all my homeboys were like, man, we're so happy you're out, that the neighborhood hasn't been the same since you've been gone. And I told them, you know what? I want to go to church. And they got mad. They were like they were all against me. So I'm arguing with all of them, even my own family, and they're all arguing with me. They're like, nah, you're just saying that because you're fresh out. You'll be back around, and you'll be back around. So I'm arguing with all of them. And then even my mother told me, I'll disown you if you turn Christian, because she hated Christians. What happened with my story was I ended up getting with some guy, and so my little cousin came over and he gave me a gun. And a few days later, I got shot. And how I got shot was, I went to some guy's house and I was just kicking down his front door. I was just gonna kick down his front door, go all up in his house and get him. But so I was kicking down the guy's front door, and he shot me out the side window. I got shot, and so they took me to the car or whatever, and they were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I told them, "I don't know. I think I'm shot." Because I had no blood and I didn't feel no pain or nothing, but my legs didn't work. And then I told them I think I'm shot, and they said like, so they lifted up my shirt and they told me, yeah, you're shot. So as soon as they told me that, I got scared, because I had no blood or nothing, because the bullet went through my lung and it went into my spine. So all my blood was going into my lung and I was choking on my own blood. So I'm just telling myself, man, hang on for the ambulance to come. So the ambulance comes, and all they do is they put an IV in me, and the cops in the ambulance are all talking, and they're like, he's not gonna make it. His only chance is to call for the chopper. So they tell me, we're gonna call in for the chopper, we're gonna airlift you, and let's not hold on. So I tell myself, man, just hang on for the chopper now. So I'm just waiting right there. The chopper comes, they put me in it, we're airlifting and we're flying. And as I'm in the chopper, I could feel it. I could feel like if I'm righteously dying, you could feel it. You know when you're dying, and I was right there and I was choking on my own blood and I was dying, and I got scared. The only thing on my mind was, man, I'm gonna go to hell right now. That's the only thing on my mind at that time when I was dying was, I'm gonna go to hell, because I knew I was just kicking down the guy's door and all that kind of stuff. And then I started thinking about when I was busted, reading the Bible, and like that started coming back to me. So I just started calling out to Jesus. But I wasn't praying like, Lord, help me to live or whatever, because I thought I was gonna die at any second. I was only praying so I wouldn't go to hell. So I was just praying to Jesus, asking him to forgive me. And it was a trip, because I was all scared, dying, all of that. But once I started praying to Jesus, I felt a wonderful peace came over me, and it's like hard to describe. And I never felt anything like it ever since again. But like from being all scared, dying, choking on all of that, to once I started calling out to Jesus, I was just so at comfort and peace, everything, like not only emotionally, physically, everything. I was just okay. And then ever since that day, the Lord has just been using my life. Even since then, like the doctors were like, man, they were amazed when they seen me. They were like, can you go around the hospital? They told me, we never seen a guy like you before. Usually when we tell them they're never going to walk again and stuff like that, we have to give them antidepressant medicines. But I was okay, like I am right now. The Lord gave me peace for my situation. So they were like, can you go around the hospital and try to cheer up the other patients? So I did. I was all shot up, but I would go around trying to cheer up the other patients. And just ever since then, the Lord has been using my life for many things. I started going into juvenile halls, and I was doing Bible studies with all the little kids in there. Started going into prisons and just a lot of things. I ended up being a chaplain at a hospital. I was speaking at different churches. Like God has just been using my life for many things. That's why, like I always tell people, that I was supposed to die that day, but God left me for a reason. And the reason is for right now, for anybody that's watching this, to tell you that it's all real. Jesus is real, and hell's real, and that the way to heaven is through Jesus. So like, I just want to tell you that your salvation is nothing to gamble with. Your soul is nothing to gamble with. And if you're ever dying, just to reach out pray like I did and call out to Jesus. And it's not about religion, because religion won't save you. It's not about good works. It's only about Jesus. It's through Him we go to heaven. My name is Jesse Holguin, and I just want to thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my testimony. Hopefully it'll bless your life, it'll change your life, or plant a seed, or hopefully you'll share it with other family members that need to hear this message, because everybody, time's running short. Jesus is coming back soon.